Good evening and welcome. I'm Darrell Owens, the Director of Communication at Beacon College. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to the inaugural Beacon College Virtual Friends event. In 2020, virtual has certainly assumed a new and hard meaning. COVID's unrelenting grip has latched on to every fabric of our personal and professional lives. Every household has been touched in some way by loss of life, loss of income, loss of jobs, and loss of opportunity. What has been universal, however, has been the loss of personal connection. Our ability to stay in close contact, to touch, and stay in touch with the people, organizations, and communities we care about, it's undoubtedly been a struggle. And Beacon, too, has endured its struggles. Yet we come tonight via a virtual platform, for we cannot meet in a ballroom, a meeting room, or a dance floor. We meet tonight to ensure we stay in touch and to celebrate. For in spite of trying unique circumstances, Beacon has enjoyed an incredible year. Record enrollment, peerless success tackling COVID head-on, and maintaining on-campus instruction throughout the semester, and significant ongoing campus construction projects. The Beacon difference is being felt every day. Please join me for the next 45 minutes and get caught up on all things Beacon. But first, I'm privileged to introduce Dr. Nathaniel Averbeck, our chairman of the Board of Trustees, who brings a few words of welcome from our governing board.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Dan Averbeck, chairman of the Board of Trustees at Beacon College. On behalf of my fellow trustees, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our inaugural Virtual Friends event. My colleagues and I are tremendously supportive of our mission and proud to partner with our president, Dr. George Haggerty, and our dedicated faculty and staff in their commitment to the success of our students. Mindful of the ever pervasive impact of the current pandemic on our families, our communities, and our institutions, I'm proud to report that Beacon is a community on the rise. As a matter of fact, just this past semester, we celebrated the largest enrollment in the history of the college. This feat was accompanied by tremendous advances in the capital structure of our campus, including the opening of our newest residence hall and the construction of our new dining facility. Moreover, Beacon continues to receive national recognition, most recently from the U.S. News and World Report's Best Colleges ranking, and Peterson's steadfast endorsement of Beacon as the #1 college for students who learn differently. To our friends, families, and benefactors, please accept our gratitude for your steadfast support. If you are joining us this evening to learn more about Beacon, we're grateful for your interest, and we hope you can plan a visit to our campus in Leesburg, Florida, in the very near future.
In 2020, Beacon welcomed its largest enrolled class to campus. Over the past 5 years, Beacon's full-time undergraduate numbers have jumped by a national pace-setting 133%, from 187 to 433 full-time undergraduates. In just 30 short years, Beacon has blazed onto the national landscape as a pioneer in undergraduate education. As America's first institution of higher education, accredited to award competitive bachelor degrees exclusively to collegians with learning and attention issues, Beacon daily fulfills our founder's vision that the right environment, support, and tools, these students effectively can master a rigorous baccalaureate curriculum. The results speak for themselves. Our students' 4-year graduation rate more than doubles how undergraduates with learning disabilities perform at other institutions. 83.5% of Beacon students attain employment or attend graduate school within the first 6 months after graduating Beacon. And for Beacon, Peterson's Guide has ranked us the #1 college for students with learning disabilities, and U.S. News and World Report rates Beacon among the best colleges in our region. These exceptional and favorable survey results are the fruits of the focus, faith, and single-minded dedication essential to the fulfillment of Beacon's collegiate mission. Collectively, it's all part of what is becoming known as the Beacon difference.
In just over 30 years, Beacon College has become a place with a distinction unmatched by much older institutions. Entrepreneurial and accessible, Beacon provides a rigorous undergraduate education that changes lives and alters the trajectories of young men and women. Nestled in Central Florida's beautiful Lake County, Beacon College is part of the growing community of Leesburg. Our campus reflects the aesthetics of a friendly downtown, nearby beautiful lakes, all while being part of the booming economy of Central Florida. Near Orlando and the Atlantic and Gulf coasts, Beacon is well situated to many 21st century industries that tap Beacon talent for internships and first careers.
We have an individualized approach that we take with all of our students, looking at their needs, their schedule, their plan of study to help them to identify the steps that they will need to be successful. We help them with life coaching in terms of time management, stress management, anything that would become a barrier to their academic success. Our learning specialists are working with those students to break down those barriers, to make them more available to learn the things that they need for their career.
Beacon continues to garner heightened national attention and accolades. In short order, Beacon College has become the leading college for students with learning differences and attention issues.
We focus on executive functioning skills, social skills, emotional regulation skills, in hopes that we can remove a lot of the barriers that impede on the initial successes of our students when they come to Beacon College. So we don't wait to work with students when they step foot on our campus in August. We are actively working with them before they even get here.
With such small class sizes, I learn who my students are very quickly, and more importantly, I can identify when they're having problems. So instead of waiting weeks or never for them to get the help that they need, here it allows me to be very proactive in giving them the help that they need, even if they don't even think they need it.
At Beacon College, we work with students to turn learning challenges and differences into assets. Our faculty and staff excel at helping students boost critical thinking skills, shine academically, understand their learning differences, and discover ways to thrive with them.
At Beacon, I learned how to learn. You figure out what's your learning style, you figure out what works best for you. I would be lost without Beacon College, and we're doing great. And I was so worried I wasn't going to.
When I see that light bulb go off after weeks of struggling and they finally get it, that's pure joy.
Many of our students wanted to learn, wanted to excel in academics, and unfortunately with their learning disabilities, that's held them back. What we strive to do is find out what it takes for them to learn that topic. As soon as I take the anxiety off, a lot of the needs that they thought they needed, they don't need anymore. And it brings the joy of learning back into it.
Beacon's now international reach uses a global canvas to paint a world for students in which their abilities are no longer limited. Unlike at any other academic community, students with learning differences thrive at Beacon College. In a high-tech world that often feels more distant and remote, the Beacon experience for students is high-touch. Whether engaging faculty in the classroom or meeting with learning specialists, career educators, or our counselors, Students thrive pursuing an undergraduate education designed around their learning differences and being part of a community skilled at nurturing their differences as the gift that they truly are.
Over 70% of our students graduate with a bachelor's degree within 4 years. If you compare that to the national graduation rate for students, it's closer to 39%. So I think that's remarkable for this population of students that really struggles with learning. So it means that the supports we're giving them, the resources that we provide, we're accomplishing our goals because we can see them progress each step of the way and move towards graduation and internship and a job.
Beacon was the one college that had built-in support where they helped you to identify what you needed and then helped you to address the problems.
But we were just so grateful that we were able to find Beacon.
If your child has a learning difference, this is the place to be. This is the only place to be.
But after you leave Beacon College, I guarantee you will be able to have the tools in order to succeed in life.
Unique programs and a faculty and staff dedicated to student success, the Beacon difference is the thread woven throughout the fabric of this very special community.
Beacon graduates, like all college graduates, embrace the ambition of worthy work that is aligned with their individual strengths, interests, and preparation. Yet some studies demonstrate that individuals with learning and attention issues frequently find the job search process a daunting one, with national employment rates over 20% below their peers. Beacon long has recognized and reckoned with this history hurdle confronted by those special learning profiles. We have done so thoughtfully integrating a coherent system that provides a 4-year career-minded curriculum, mandates students earn practical experience through at least one meaningful internship, and creates partnerships and programs with businesses and organizations designed to advance a successful college-to-work transition. The Bowen Family Career Development Center has been important for equipping students with critical interviewing and career preparation skills. Employers are taking notice and making Beacon a destination for recruiting students for internships and full-time employment. There is no better success story of the Beacon difference in the workplace than at Dell Technologies in Texas. Beacon alumni are making a difference every day in this Fortune 100 company and global industry leader.
My name is Steve Sturr. My daughter is a freshman here. I run a division in our services organization, and I'm always looking for talent. And when I came here, I was really impressed with the energy of the students, and when I actually had the chance to talk to them a little bit more and talk about why we're passionate about our customers, I could just see that come out in what they were starting to articulate back to me. But I tell you, the other thing that I thought really differentiated Beacon from some of the other schools that I've been to is the maturity of the students. They actually know themselves really well, and I think that has a lot to do with the curriculum. The school teaches them to understand how they think, how they learn, how they behave and make decisions. I don't always see that kind of maturity from a lot of undergraduates. My hope is that we come back every year for internships, and the intent of bringing students in as interns is to translate that into a full-time job offer at the end of the summer. You know, I think they understand how to work with students with learning disabilities, and all that comes with that. And they're really looking at the student holistically, not just academically. And I think that's why my daughter feels really comfortable in the environment. She's doing very well, yeah, very well.
Well, it's been an exciting journey. You know, when we started, we were hopeful, but didn't exactly know what to expect. And I'm pleased to say that the journey so far has exceeded our expectations. We've been able to work with several interns each of the last 3 summers. And we have the pleasure of being able to work with 3 of those alumni on a full-time basis. And it's going incredibly well. I think we have recognized value in 2 primary areas, and they're areas that I think a lot of companies would find some value. Number 1, we have been on this journey for the last decade of driving diversity and inclusion, and neurodiversity is a very big part of that. I had a team member approach me, I'll tell you a story, about a year ago. And she pulled me aside and said, I just want to thank you for hiring this student from Beacon. It kind of took me back. I said, well, why is that? And she said, you know, I myself have struggled and are struggling with some of the things that they struggle with and that they're very open about. And for the first time in many, many years at this company, I really feel like I can be my authentic self. And that statement was really powerful. That's the culture we want, right? If we can harness that type of culture in our company, we can do amazing things, right? The second point I'd kind of like to make is around customers. I read a report recently that Johns Hopkins, I think, put out. They did a study that said 26% of Americans over the age of 18 have some form of mental disorder or learning disability. Frankly, that represents a large portion of our customer base. We believe that it's incredibly important for our workforce to mirror that of our customers. The power of that is it allows us to understand how our customers think and what they want. So I would tell you that I don't think companies, frankly, can afford not to make this investment. You know, I think it's important for employers to understand why approaching problems differently is powerful. And the best example I can give you is an example I have from one of the alumni from Beacon. About a year ago, we had one of these ladies that was a project manager. She was focused on executing a process. And she was so focused on the process and looking at that process differently that she recognized there was an opportunity to automate the process. And she had some development skills. So she did some research. She determined how to create a bot, and she took that entire process and automated it completely. And I think what's so impressive is we had many project managers over the years interact, engage in that process, and not one of them picked up on that. And I think what made this situation so powerful is that this young lady looked at this process with an intent focus differently than others have looked at it in the past. And it generated, frankly, it arguably saved us several $1 million. It was enormous. Let me talk for a moment as a parent. I don't know if I really understood how strong my daughter was before she went to Beacon. And what we've learned through the journey of her being there is that the college has created an environment for her to not only understand her differences, but embrace her differences and shine in such a way that I don't know we would have seen as parents in many other environments. My wife and I have been incredibly impressed watching our daughter grow.
Students come to Beacon College from 34 states and 4 countries with a wide variety of talents, interests, and backgrounds. Besides their learning differences, what binds most of our students together is their need for financial assistance in order to make their dream of an undergraduate education a reality. 90% of Beacon students receive some form of financial aid, with 35% of our students eligible for Pell Grants, which is federal money awarded based solely on financial need. Our students currently receive, on average, $12,000 in scholarship assistance, not including federal grants and loans. For a college the size and tenure of Beacon College, that is a sizable sum. But to many families, that is insufficient, especially given the impact of COVID on their household finances. For many of our students, enrolling or returning to Beacon often remains an uncertainty until donors step forward to fund student scholarships.
My name is Alexander Michaels. I live in Coconut Creek, Florida. The reason why I'll tell you to go to Beacon is that if you look at any other college, like they have the same program, but you don't want to be known as like a number. You want to be known as your name, you know. And the reason why Beacon is because you build a really good relationship with your teachers, you build relationships with your classmates, and you meet all types of people on Main Street.
My name is Nathaniel Roberts. I first heard about Beacon through my mom. She was looking for colleges that would help me like thrive and really learn things, especially with my ADHD. She wanted to find a college that would really cater to that and help me learn in a way that I can learn. The three things I appreciate the most being here is definitely the teachers. I had some really good teachers over like the last 2.5 years. Number two, the people I've met, like friends, they've been real kind. I have really cool and unique friends. And number three, I'd say I'm really looking forward to the more experiences, seeing what the college just really has for me.
My name is Alana Samuels, and I'm from Washington, D.C. So I was diagnosed with ADHD, generalized process disorder, and anxiety. And so school was a challenge. High school was a challenge. The integration schools don't work for children that truly have learning disabilities. They're not the neurotypical, and Beacon gives them that setting for them to learn, to manage, to transcend. So Beacon is definitely an investment if you truly believe in somebody's education, if you truly believe in somebody's growth. My mother really believed in the mission of the school. So since she tried to get me on board to believe in it, but I couldn't believe it until I really saw it, until I actually experienced it. And Beacon has really made me realize that my disability is not my limitation. It doesn't put me in a small box. It doesn't marginalize me. It doesn't, I can feel strong, I can feel big and have confidence, even with all the personal stuff that the challenges I may face. But those are only just things that you learn to work through. You learn to manage, you learn to transcend from. So it truly is an investment if you want to change somebody's life or develop them. So I love Beacon so much. I really appreciate this school very much.
My name is Jennifer Curtis. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, on the west side in Austin neighborhood. Before I went to Beacon, I went to another college and back home, downtown, Robert Morris University for cooking. Didn't do that well there. Coming here and be able to have the help from scholarships and grants and everything, it helps a lot, because this year and 2 years ago I was struggling where I wasn't able to come back. Out of nowhere, Stephanie Knight emailed me and my mom hey, we have a huge grant for you. Someone out of their kind heart gave you this amount of money to make sure you come back to finish. And I was like, whoa. That is amazing, and grace of God. I wanted to come back to finish and have that degree and saying hey, I actually did it. Sorry. The diploma and everything from Beacon or just in general, to have it to say I have achieved my goal to accomplish and have it to prove people that a person who have a disability can do basically anything, no matter what. If the person said, oh, you should just go to a community college because that's what you basically could do. And look at me now. I have my associate degree. I'm happy that I have that. And now that's to get my bachelor's degree in December. And I'm so happy that I can have that and make my mom proud, and mostly make myself proud that I achieved my goal in life that I actually wanted to do. And yeah.
Much like our students, we found that our parents are the creators of significant legacies. Moms and dads of a collegian with learning differences and attention issues have walked every step of the journey with their student. That journey does not end when the student leaves for college or enters the workforce. That journey is often lifelong, full of pride, emotion, and hardship. We treasure the relationships we have with our parents and the relationships that their parents develop with their students' learning specialists, counselors, life skills educators, and other support staff who provide the connective tissue that holds together for our students a successful Beacon experience. Our connections with parents are lifelong. Parents, once connected to Beacon, are the most committed and most supportive of our students. Oftentimes, Beacon parents are first to step forward to help a student with no attachment to their own child through a challenging situation or through financial hardship. In challenging times like now, this matters more than ever. That's why scholarships like the Mitchell Paspahala Memorial Scholarship make an incredible impact in the lives of our students. The Beacon community tragically lost Mitch 5 years ago. Mitch made a significant impact on so many in our community. In the midst of such harrowing loss, his parents, Beth and Jim, remained engaged, keeping Mitch's memory alive and working to ensure financial challenges don't rob students from benefiting, like Mitch, from the opportunity Beacon offers.
We found out about Beacon College after some unsuccessful tries with our son enrolled in various high school, I should say, and college experiences. And I finally, as a last resort, Googled ADHD and college. And believe it or not, Beacon College came up, and it was located right here in Leesburg, Florida, 4-year accredited college. And we were thrilled to find this. And we found that Beacon did so much, an incredible job with Mitchell's writing, which really impressed us. Along with his, the classroom situation, we noticed there were small classrooms. He was able to shine in class. It was a different way of learning. It was more of a visual, which is something that he really thrived at. And we just knew that it was the perfect fit for our son. He saw and felt and experienced success. This was something in all his years of schooling we had not ever seen. Well, just to start, we lost our son tragically in the last semester of his college career. And he was getting ready to graduate with honors. This is a student who was failing. I mean, actually got kicked out of high school. We were able to get him limp through high school and get his degree, and then on to a community college where he failed. Here he thrived, not only thrived, but he was an honors student. He was graduating with a 3.7 GPA at the end of his life. It's very important to us because we're so grateful to Beacon for what they've done for our son. And it's important for us to keep his memory alive. And by continuing the scholarship, we're looking for other students who are struggling who are like Mitch and who give a lot to the community. That's really important to us because we feel like that's really where Mitchell thrived. So the fact that we can offer this scholarship to students here that are financially struggling really means a lot. It just means everything to us.
We read what they send us as to why they think they deserve the scholarship. And you can tell they put a lot of time into what they're doing here at the school. And like my wife Beth just said, that they try to do the community service. But it's a win for a kid, right? I mean, number one, I got a scholarship. That's less than my mom, who's going solo wherever they live, trying to make a living for her other two kids, and put a kid through a school like Beacon, where hopefully when they come out the other end, they're able to find a job and make it easier on themselves and their family.
One last thing I'd like to say is that we really are so grateful to the staff, the administrators, to all the people here that Mitch came in contact with, and especially Dr. Haggerty, for giving Mitchell the feeling of success in his life. Because prior to Beacon, I mean this with all my heart, in a school setting, he never experienced that. And we're just so grateful for that, and for the fact that we're able to keep our Mitchell's memory alive. For that, we're really appreciative and thankful.
I guess the only thing I would add is, again, it's inspiring to see where this school was 7 years ago and where it is today. And it strives to maintain quality staff. You can tell they're going in the right direction just because every year you come out here, there's a new building going up, and the enrollment's doubled in 7 years. I think, the sad thing is I think this school wants to be a certain size because they want to keep quality where it's at. But I know there's a lot of parents and kids out there that would benefit from this institution. But it costs money, and that's where hopefully the scholarships help, and every
and the donors
and the donors, and every little bit helps, and that's why we're committed to the fund we're trying to maintain.
A college as young as Beacon is often struggles to foster friendships with people with no immediate ties to the institution. Our youth also leads to a shallow alumni base that is still making its mark. What is the game changer for Beacon is our distinct mission in serving students with learning differences and attention issues, and our track record in serving them well. Collectively, our mission and track record help draw Beacon a supporter network that is well beyond institutional age and endowment size. A good example of such a relationship rests with Jim Brett, the president and CEO of the New England Council. Jim has been a national advocate for individuals with disabilities for nearly 5 decades and has served as the chairman of the President's Committee for People with Intellectual Disabilities and on the National Council of Disability. A national leader and trailblazer, Jim Brett has seen firsthand the impact the Beacon Difference is having on students and their families, and he puts his money where his support is. The Jack Brett Scholarship not only honors the legacy of his beloved older brother Jack, but also acknowledges that more financial assistance creates more opportunities for needy students who benefit from a Beacon College education.
My name is Jim Brett. We happen to be in my office here. I'm the president of the New England Council, which is the oldest regional business organization in the United States. But I also have another job, and that's my passion, and that's disabilities. I happen to be involved in disability organizations. I have been chairman of the Governor's Commission here for people for intellectual disabilities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for some 20 years. 4 governors, have been involved on a national level. President George Bush appointed me to the President's Committee, at that time called the President's Committee for People for Mental Retardation. I was offended by that name, and my second term there, we worked very hard to change that name, get away from MR, mental retardation. And my second term on the commission under President Bush, we changed the name from the President's Committee for People with Intellectual Disabilities. Very proud of that. My passion is disability and advocating for people with disabilities. And how did it all start? It started in 1934 when my brother Jack was born. He was the oldest, I was the youngest. And in 1934, we did not have the Americans with Disability Act. We didn't have any employment acts for people with disability. We didn't have fair housing for people with disability. We had nothing at that time in 1934. If you were born with a serious mental or physical disability, you were either put into an institution or you were quite literally hidden from the neighborhood where people wouldn't even know that you existed. Again, a woman coming from a farm from Ireland, 6th grade education, not knowing anyone, looking at a doctor who we all would think all-knowing, all-powerful, all-knowledgeable, and she's saying, no, he's not going into an institution. He's coming home. And not only is he coming home, I'm going to have more children, and those children are going to be part of his life, and he's going to be part of their life. My brother was just like anyone else. He wanted to be part of the community. He wanted to work, but there was no opportunities. Nobody's advocating for people like my brother back then. And that's what I say now. Almost 85, 86% of people with disabilities are unemployed. It's a disgrace. To me, that's like a human rights issue. Why are so many? These are people who want to work, but nobody, for the most part, will take the chance to say, you know what, we'll hire these individuals. We have an opening. When I heard he was going down to Beacon, I sort of made a note to myself to look into Beacon and what it's all about. George was president of another college in New Hampshire, Franklin Pierce, up in Ringe. I was on the board there, so I knew George. I knew of his work. I knew of his dedication. I knew of his commitment. I knew of his passion. I knew of his compassion. His passion for these students is extraordinary. I mean, he goes all over the world, trying to find resources and also to notify people of the success of Beacon College. But I had the pleasure of being at Beacon on a few occasions. I say to people all the time when I talk about Beacon, 2 things happen there. Not only are you impressed, you're inspired. I'm always inspired with the students there. These students are committed, they're bright, and they just want to be able to get that degree, be part of the community, contribute, be employable, and that's what's happening there. I mean, miracles are occurring there. I'm just struck by the caliber of the students who are there, that they are committed and they're dedicated in getting an education. And then 2, I'm also committed with the staff there, that they are just passionate about their mission there and encouraging and supporting all the students to be successful in their life and their whatever their dreams are, because dreams there can become reality. Beacon is part of my DNA now, and I preach it everywhere I go. I let people know about Beacon, and hopefully some of them will even visit there, and then eventually some of them will contribute. But it's a great college, it's a great cause, it'd be a great opportunity for people to make a difference in an awful lot of people's lives.
Dr. George Haggerty will have no problem remembering the 7th year of his tenure at Beacon College. Amid the grip of COVID-19, 2020 bore witness to the greatest health, economic, societal, and interpersonal challenges in a century. Through this staggering year, President Haggerty led and challenged our community to embrace and implement the Responsible Community Initiative, a comprehensive effort and set of protocols to address the new realities of living and working safely in a COVID-19 world. That was critical for the health and safety of our community. It was also imperative to ensure that we could reopen our campus and resume the on-campus instruction that is so critical for our students' development. While COVID-19 might have caused us to pause our capital campaign for our new core academic building, a campaign that is set to resume this spring, it could not deter us from successfully bringing a record-breaking class of students back to Beacon for a very successful fall semester. Nor could it stop us from doing whatever we can to make a college education more affordable for Beacon students.
Good evening and welcome, and thank you to everybody who has already bore witness to Beacon College and our rich legacy. Right now, I address you from an environment in which I was very comfortable for 10 years, a classroom. Over the last 23 years, I have served in either the position of president or provost at 3 institutions. You may have wondered, as I have, what do colleges that we admire do when they confront a major issue? They keep moving forward. And that's what Beacon College has done. We have not let the pandemic slow us down. We took stock, we collected ourselves, we went through a process of creative worry. We came up with a whole series of strategies that we vetted, and we drafted something called the Responsible Community Initiative. This was all done in 3 months, and it's a tribute to the entire community, and the result has been nothing short of fantastic for both our students and employees. It provided the sort of protection we needed through testing, the safeguards of protocols, and frequent, accurate communication to all constituencies. We, in August, completed a brand new residence hall for freshmen and transfer students, suite style and beautiful. We are now in the process of creating a new dining commons for the college, which will be available in late spring. And we will, upon completion of the dining commons, renovate the student center so that it is both more comfortable and enjoyable for our students' recreation and social time. If we could capture the essence of some of this evening's presentations, it is that in a high-tech world, Beacon is high touch. The Beacon experience is a high-touch experience, whether it's in the classroom or in the offices of those who provide our wraparound services, our learning specialists, our career educators, our counselors, all who are part of the fabric of the Beacon professional staff. It is said that talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. That speaks volumes about the Beacon experience. Our students take this opportunity to receive an undergraduate education that is devoted to their learning differences and to accept it and use it as the gift that it is. I think I can speak for the Board of Trustees and for the administration, the faculty, and the staff in saying that during the pandemic, it was our goal to remain on course, on task, and on budget. And I think that we have achieved each of these objectives. But if we look at higher education more broadly, those institutions that not only survive but thrive are focused on 3 A's, 3 essentials. They are access, accountability, and affordability. One of our ambitions for the next 3 to 5 years is the creation of a core academic building on campus. And that will provide us with the necessary classrooms, faculty offices, and even a literacy laboratory that will meet the needs of our students. But tonight I want to close by talking not about access or accountability. I think we've done very good in those measures with our dynamic growth and with the kinds of student outcomes that we have. But I want to talk about the affordability of Beacon College for all of our students. Our students now receive an average of $12,000 in scholarship assistance, not including federal and state grants and loans. This is a sizable sum for a small college like Beacon, but it is insufficient for many of our families, especially in the era of COVID, when the pandemic has caused disruption in family finances. What we are attempting to do is to make our accessible and accountable institution affordable for those students seeking a Beacon education. In closing, I'd like to invite you to join me in considering a gift that could advance our scholarship program so that all students have available to them the Beacon experience. Working together, we can make an incredible difference in the lives of our students and their families. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you for joining us live tonight and participating in our inaugural Virtual Friends event. COVID might have curtailed many of the public events in which we engage and see one another, but we must always insist on being connected. This semester, we saw firsthand the benefits that face-to-face on-campus instruction brings to our students. We desperately miss the ability to have on-campus events with parents, alumni, and friends. Until then, we must seek to engage in whatever ways we can to stay involved. Check out our virtual Salon Series events and our television show, A World of Difference, available on all Beacon College social media platforms. We are also greater, more effective, and stronger with your participation and support of our academic community. We ask that you consider making a gift to our scholarship program so that all students will have available to them the Beacon experience. To make a donation, go to our website in the upper right-hand corner and click on the golden Give button. Working together, we can make an incredible difference in the lives of our students and their families. Thank you once again for your time and participation this evening. On behalf of President George Haggerty, our Board of Trustees, and the entire Beacon community, I wish you good health in the many days and weeks ahead. Good night.